The reward for being the best at your job isn't a promotion. It's more work. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed the harder you work, the more work you get? Not more money, not more recognition, just more work. You finish a task early. Your reward? Hey, can you also handle this real quick? You fix a problem. Your reward? Now you're the go-to person for every problem. And at first, it feels good. You feel valuable, important, needed. But what happens when being needed starts to feel like being trapped? Because here's the truth nobody tells you. The reward for being the best at your job is not a promotion. It's more work. And in most corporate environments, if you're too good at what you do, you become something dangerous, irreplaceable. And that sounds like a compliment, but it's not, because in corporate life, irreplaceable is just a polite way of saying you can't be promoted. So now the real question is, if being great at your job is the problem, what are you supposed to do instead? Let's break this down. Imagine you're a manager. You have one employee who does the work of 3 people, always on time, no mistakes, no complaints. Now be honest, would you promote that person? Or would you keep them exactly where they are and quietly depend on them? Because promoting them creates a problem for you, a big one. That's the trap. You didn't fail. You optimize yourself into a corner. This is called the competence trap. You're so good at executing that nobody can see you as a leader. And if nobody sees you as a leader, how do you ever become one? Now wait, before you misunderstand this. I'm not saying you should be bad at your job. Relax. I'm saying you should stop being too good at the parts that don't matter. Because not all work is equal. Some work gets you paid. Other work gets you promoted. Do you know which one you're doing right now? This is where things start to change. Point 1. High performer versus high potential. There are 2 types of people at work. High performers and high potentials. High performers. They execute, deliver, finish tasks, solve problems. High potentials. They position, communicate, build relationships, think ahead. And guess who gets promoted? Not the one working the hardest. The one who is seen as ready for the next level. So what do they have that you don't? Capacity. You? Back-to-back tasks. Deadlines. Fixing issues. No breathing room. They? Time to think. Time to talk. Time to position themselves. While you're drowning in work. They're grabbing coffee with your manager. They're not doing less. They're doing something different. So how do you actually create that space without getting fired or looking lazy? First strategy, introduce 80% shift. You stop operating at 100%. Yeah, I said it. Because 100% effort on your current job leaves 0% for your future. So what happens if you drop to 80%? You gain 20% back. That's where growth happens. Learning new skills, building connections, thinking strategically. You don't need more time. You need to reclaim it. New example, change energy. Let's say a task takes you 2 hours. Deadline? 2 days. What do you normally do? Finish it immediately. Send it. Get more work. Instead, you pace it. Use the extra time for you. Then submit it on time. Same result. Less stress. Fewer quick favors. You're not being lazy. You're being strategic. But this is just the surface. Because if you really want to escape this trap, you have to do something most people avoid. Quick 1. If you've ever felt like your reward for doing a great job was just more work, drop yes in the comments. I want to see how many people are stuck in this loop. And if you want to start playing this game smarter, hit subscribe. Because most people are still playing it wrong. All right, now let's talk about the real escape plan. Because this next part is where everything actually changes. Now you understand the trap. Work harder, get more work. Become valuable, become stuck. So how do you break out without risking your job, your income, or your reputation? Because here's the paradox. To move up, you have to stop being needed where you are. Point 2, the real escape plan intro. And that starts with something that sounds completely wrong. You need to make yourself replaceable. Yeah, I know. Everything you've been taught says the opposite. But think about it. How can you be promoted if the system breaks without you? You can't. Point 3, document the how. So here's step 1. Document everything you do. Right now, you have knowledge in your head. Shortcuts, processes, fixes, things only you understand. What happens if you disappear tomorrow? Chaos, confusion, delays. And that's exactly why you don't get promoted, because you're not just doing the job. You are the system. So start creating simple SOPs, step-by-step guides, checklists. Instead of, I just handle it. You create, here's exactly how it's handled. Now your value shifts from, only I can do this, to, I can build systems others can follow. And that's when people start seeing you differently. Point 3, signal for the next role. Step 2, stop reporting the past. Start signaling the future. Most people walk into meetings and say, I completed this task. I finished that project. I solved this issue. But let me ask you, who cares? That's expected. That's your job. Execution doesn't get you promoted. Direction does. Instead of saying, here's what I did, say, I've been learning more about next level skill because I want to contribute at a higher level. Manager hears that. Pause. New perception unlocked. Now you're not just a worker. You're a future asset. And once they start seeing you that way, what do you think happens next? Point 4, build a successor. Now this is the move that separates the stuck from the promoted. You train someone to replace you. Yes, you're basically training your escape plan. But why would you do that? Because now your role is no longer tied to you. You show someone how to handle tasks, how to fix problems, how to manage workflows. Now the system survives without you, and that gives your manager confidence. When they ask why you're doing this, say, I want to make sure there's no gap when I move into a bigger role. That one sentence changes everything. Now you're not asking for a promotion. You're preparing for one. And when you combine all of this, you free up time. You make yourself replaceable. You signal upward movement. You break the trap. No more frustration. No more feeling stuck. No more being the go-to person for everything except growth. Because at the end of the day, do you want to be the best worker or the one who actually moves up? Being good at your job is a transaction. Being strategic about your career is an investment. Stop being the person who does the work. Start being the person who understands why the work matters. If you want more real, no BS career advice like this, hit subscribe. And if you want to understand why hard work alone is keeping you stuck, watch this next video. It might completely change how you approach your career. I'll see you there.